Hey guys, today we're going to answer the question, is premium fuel better for your car and does it increase performance? Before we get started, if you're interested in seeing other videos like this or want to see cool automotive content, please hit the subscribe button. So why is gas important and why are the attributes of the gas that you put in your car important? It affects three things. It affects the environment, it affects your wallet, and it affects the performance and engine life and engine health of your car. So what makes gas different when you go to the gas station? So there are three main types of gasoline when you go to the gas station. At least that's how it is in New Hampshire where we live. There's your low-end octane, your mid-level octane, and your high-level octane. The high level is your premium gas. So today in the automotive community, a lot of people are asking themselves, if I put premium gas in my car, am I going to get better performance? There's also this idea going around that premium fuel can be better for your engine. So what really makes those three types of gas different? It's their octane level. And that's what you would see as 87, 89, 91, 95. Those are the numbers by the fuel types when you go to the gas station. So what does the octane content mean? The octane level numerically quantifies an attribute of the gasoline itself. It's a number that correlates to the maximum compression of the fuel before ignition. So, the lower the octane content, the lower the fuel has to be compressed before it ignites, and vice versa for the high octane content. So, an important thing to understand when looking at gasoline is actually what's happening to the gasoline in your engine. So, you have a cylinder in your engine, and you have a piston that's compressing the fuel inside that cylinder. And it's a cyclic action. It's happening over and over and over again on a timing. Now there's also a spark in that engine cycle that can ignite the fuel as well as the compression of the piston. When your engine's running and you're running at a certain RPM or you're in idle or you're moving, what's happening is your engine is running at a certain speed. That speed is the compressions of the pistons and the cyclic action of the compressions of the pistons. What's actually happening, and what's really important in understanding gasoline and the octane level, is that your car is bringing in a certain amount of fuel for each cyclic compression. Now most cars aren't able to recognize what type of octane fuel is in their tank, so it's drawing in a certain amount of gas every time. So let's say I'm driving down the street and I've got a 4-cylinder engine. Let's say I'm driving a Honda Civic. A certain amount of gasoline is being pulled into each cylinder during each compression. Now let's say I'm running an 89, which is probably what is rated for Honda Civics. So as I'm driving down, a certain amount of gasoline is being pulled into each cylinder and the piston is compressing it. Whether it's being sparked or ignited via compression, all that fuel is leaving the cylinder after that stroke. And it's working at optimal level. What's important to understand here is that the fuel coming in is at a higher octane level. So it's coming in at the same volume and the same mass as the regular gas, not the premium. And what's happening is it's being compressed. So being that it has a higher octane level, it means it's more stable. Octane level also equates to stability, right? The more stable the fuel, the harder it is to compress. So as the piston goes down to compress the fuel, it's not going to compress as much in the timing of the piston compression. So your ECU basically says to your piston, you need to compress this quickly, and this is the amount of time before we ignite, right? So if the gasoline itself isn't being compressed enough, and the spark is still happening, your engine is only compressing a part of the fuel that it's adding to the cylinder, which during each cycle means it's leaving fuel behind. So when you increase the octane level of the fuel and you put it in your gas tank, you're actually going to be depositing extra fuel in the cylinder for each cycle of compressions. Now why that's bad is it can cause this thing called knock, engine knock, or engine ping. It makes a noise in some cars, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the extenuating circumstances of the ECU programming. However, engine knock is very bad for your car, and a lot of cars these days either don't have a sensor that's good enough, don't have the sensor, or don't have a way of telling the driver that something's wrong and you're actually experiencing engine knock. So if you put premium fuel in, you may be experiencing slight engine knock and you might not even know about it. So all in all, engine knock will significantly decrease the performance of your car, as in it's going to decrease the longevity of your engine, it's going to break things, it's going to screw up your ECU, and in certain circumstances it may detune your engine, which is going to hurt your gas mileage, it's going to hurt some of the performance parts, some of the valves. It's pushing back on the piston, so the piston itself and the housing of the cylinder is going to be affected, you're adding a lot more forces in the cylinder and the timing of the engine strokes that could negatively affect your engine. So if you're in a high octane engine, which is a lot of premium cars with turbos or superchargers, the same thing is true, except you're not going to experience necessarily engine knock. You're going to compress all the fuel very quickly, right, if you have lower octane fuel, and you're not going to have enough compressed fuel during the ignition. So what's going to actually happen is your engine, your ECU, especially in the newer cars, is going to detune. It's going to recognize that not enough fuel is being pushed through and you're not getting enough power for each stroke. So it's going to end up detuning and either lowering the compression amount or the timing, or it's going to bring in more fuel, right? Either thing is dangerous because you may go from one tank of premium, you might do a tank of lower octane gas, and then if you want to go back to the tank of premium, your engine will have been detuned, and then you'll create knock, and you'll go through the same problems as a low octane engine receiving high octane fuel. It's a very dangerous game to play. So all in all, understanding what your engine needs and what your owner's manual says is very important. Now if you don't have the owner's manual or it doesn't say, call your local dealership. The engineers and manufacturers that designed this car, produced it, and got it into your hands did everything for a reason. They're the ones that programmed the ECU, they're the ones that designed the engine, and they designed it for a certain specification of fuel for your car. Now deviating from that fuel specification, as we've stated in this video, can be very dangerous, and sometimes you won't even know what's happening. Now for all those out there thinking, well, it might give me more performance, sometimes if you put it in for the first time, you will recognize more performance. That's not always true over the long term. You might see that until you have that built up fuel in each cylinder during the strokes. Now for all those that are like, I want the increased performance, is it worth it? The performance that it's going to increase is minuscule. Your butt dyno, the most important thing on a car, you're not going to feel it. Now if you take it to a dyno, an actual dyno tuner, you might see a small difference if you haven't been running the car on the fuel very quickly. Let's go back to the three things that we talked about before. What's in play here? Your engine, the environment, and your wallet. It's more expensive to buy premium fuel, so it's not worth it, right? That's your wallet. Now the environment. If you're compressing too much, too little, leaving fuel out, you might change the emissions of your car, which could negatively affect the environment. Now the most important thing here is your engine. And that's your car. The engine really is your car. It significantly hurts the health of your engine, and it shortens the longevity of your engine's ability to perform. Thanks for watching, guys, and always, please subscribe if you'd like to see videos like this one. Leave me a like if this was a helpful video, and please comment about your experiences with adding premium fuel or taking a high octane engine and going down to regular fuel. I'd like to hear what your experiences are with both performance, possibly engine knock, and other side effects to changing the recommended fuel. Thanks for watching, guys.